Welcome back to the 12 Gays of Christmas. I am taking over Lauren's channel again with another series of book reviews because you keep asking for them in the comments. I only have so much time to read, guys. I'm trying my best. This time I am reviewing 7 YA lesbian books. And for YA lesbian, we're talking ages 14 to 20 plus. They're covering a few different genres. We've got historical, fantasy, some sci-fi, so there's a little bit for everyone. I'll go through a little spiel about the book, why you should read it if you like some other things, and whether the cover is safe for you to read if you're not yet out. Also, a quick thank you to all of Lauren's channel members. If you want to be part of the Cool Kids Club, you can become a member on YouTube if it's just for December or for forever, whatever you want to do. Any support is really appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Lauren's trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Woo! So click that button if you haven't already. I do some book reviews. Lauren does all the rest of the stuff. And let's get into it for today. The first book is Valiant Ladies by Melissa Gray. This is a YA historical book. We have two main characters, Kiki and Anna, who by day are proper 17th century ladies wearing dresses and lace and dainty shoes, but at night they swap wearing skirts for carrying swords, and they go through the streets and they fight for justice and they gamble and they drink and they fall in love with each other. The book is set in Potosi in the Spanish Empire ruling of Peru during the 17th century. When Kiki's brother is murdered, the girls set out to investigate who's responsible, and they also are at the same time discovering the corruption that lies at the heart of the Spanish aristocracy in Peru. The book is told from dual perspectives, so you get Kiki and Anna's POVs in different chapters. Anna was born in a brothel while Kiki was born in the noble ruling class, so they have very different backgrounds, which makes it really interesting to read because you hear their different perspectives and how they fight but also reconcile and come together. It makes for some interesting dynamics, and they have differing views of the world and how do they meet in the middle. This book is for you if you like lesbians with swords, which I know many of you do, if you like Spanish and Latin American history, or if you like murder mysteries, because there's a bit of that in this too. The front cover is safe for you to read if you're not out yet. It's got the two main characters on it, but it doesn't look inherently gay. The back cover blurb does make it clear that both of the characters are young ladies and that they are falling in love with each other. So it's explicitly gay in the blurb. If you've got anyone who's going to really read through a blurb before they buy you a book, then maybe save this one for later. The second book is Girls Made of Snow and Glass by Melissa Bashardoust. This one is YA fantasy. It's a reimagined female-focused story of Snow White told from two different perspectives that start in different times but converge into one timeline. One of the main characters is Mina. She's the daughter of a very feared magician, and she learns that her heart is made of glass. Her dad made her heart out of glass, so it means that she cannot feel or be loved. So she decides that in order to have a successful future, she sets out a plan. Her plan is go to the king's castle, make the king fall in love with her beauty, and marry him to secure her position as queen and to have a happy life. Our other main character is Lynette, who is that king's daughter from his previous wife, his queen, who died. Lynette looks just like her dead mother, which she learns is because she was actually made out of snow by that same magician to be the exact same image as her mother. But Lynette's never known her mother and never loved her mother. The person she does know and love is her stepmother, Mina, who she wishes she could be more like. But when she learns that Mina knew that she was made from snow and made to be a replica of her mum, that makes Lynette very upset with Mina and starts a fracture in their relationship that just gets wider and wider. At the same time, Lynette is growing closer and closer to the new court surgeon, who's a female surgeon named Nadia, who's a very stoic character, very lovely, and they have a very cute little slow burn romance. This book really subverted my expectations of a fairy tale retelling, and I really liked its focus on female friendships and relationships, not just romantic relationships, and how those female relationships are impacted by living in a world that is ruled by men, which is also our world, just so everyone's clear. Both the main characters are literally formed and controlled by magic by their dads. So that's a big metaphor for patriarchy. But what it means, ladies and gaydies, is that the true villain is misogyny. Always. This book is going to be for you if you like fantasy or fairy tale retellings, if you like books that explore female relationships, not just the romantic ones, but any kind of connection between female characters, and if you like really rich fantasy worlds. The world building in this book's really good too. This cover is super safe for you to read if you're not out yet. There's nothing on the front cover or in the blurb that lets you know about that very sweet romantic relationship, so all good to buy. Lots of people have recommended for me to read this one over the years, and you were all right, and I'm very sorry I didn't read it sooner. Bad Erin.
Bad Galpal! Why don't you know your name?
Speaking of bad Erin / bad Galpal, this has absolutely no relevance, but you should buy some merch! I am wearing the sweater of the Lavender Menace collection, which has the same sort of stamp print that all of the collection has, but it also has Lavender Menace written down the sleeves, which is quite cool if you like a long sleeve or a sweater. You can get 10% off any merch with the code 12gays during December. This really supports Lauren's YouTube channel, so if you've been looking at some Christmas presents for people that you love or for yourself, now is the time. Fun fact, the stamp imagery that Lauren's gone with for the design is actually a homage to all the lesbian writers of history who used to write letters to each other. So it feels appropriate for a video where we're reviewing writers who also wrote lesbians. The next book is 2 books. Don't shoot me, Lauren.
Hey!
It's a little duology, alright? I have to do them together.
You told me you were doing 5 books, and every time we do these videos...
You should know by now not to trust me.
This is heavy sarcasm for anyone who cannot tell. I'm not mad.
Right, so we have 2. Can you see them? They are The Rise of Kyoshi and The Shadow of Kyoshi by F.C. Yi. These are YA fantasy books. I'm just gonna put the second one down because, you know, it's hard to hold 2 things. But there are 2 of them. Don't forget there's a second one. All right, this duology explores the background and the rise to avatarhood of Kyoshi, who was the longest living avatar in the Avatar universe. If you have ever watched the Avatar TV show, that is the same background story avatar of this Avatar books. And if you have never watched the Avatar TV show, what are you doing with your life? Go and watch the Avatar TV show. But if you haven't ever watched the TV show, that is perfectly fine. You don't actually need to have watched it to read these books. You can still enjoy them. It still builds the world out very well for people who are not familiar with the Avatar universe. For those who are unfamiliar, in the world of Avatar, people can be benders with using one of 4 elements. So earth, water, fire, or air. And then there's one person called the Avatar who can bend all 4 elements and is like a key political leader figure of the world. There's only one Avatar alive at any one time, so when one of them dies, a lot of people gather very quickly to try and find who's the next Avatar is going to be. The first book starts about 9 years after the death of the previous Avatar. They think they found the new Avatar, Avatar Yun, but it turns out that they got it wrong when Kyoshi accidentally bends in a different bending style other than earth bending, and they realize, oh shit, we got it wrong. But because there's lots of growing political unrest and like saving face for the fact that they stuffed it up, Kyoshi is forced to go on the run with her best friend Rangi, and she has to try and balance her avatar bending training with her personal quest for vengeance and justice. So these 2 books do have a very cute and rich and like well-founded love story between Kyoshi and said friend Rangi. They start as friends, but it develops into a romance. Rangi is Kyoshi's firebending bodyguard, so as you can imagine from someone who wields the element of fire, she's a pretty fiery, get it, character. But they actually are probably one of my favorite female-female couples in any sort of book series that I've read. So if you look for that as like a key reason to read a book, definitely recommend. Other reasons this book might be for you are if you like the Avatar series, obviously. If you're into elemental magic, if you're into really rich world building, and world building that has heaps of like lore and background that you could go down Wikipedia rabbit holes forever on. Both of these covers are safe for you to read if you're not out yet. There's nothing sort of on the front of them or in the blurbs that indicates there's a romantic relationship between Kyoshi and Rangi. Next up, we have Not for the Faint of Heart by Lex Croucher. This one is a YA historical rom-com, basically, and a retelling of the Robin Hood myth. Mariel is the granddaughter of Robin Hood and Maid Marian, and she's just become a captain in the Merry Men, which are now like a pseudo-military group, and she's determined to prove herself to her tough-to-impress dad, who's a commander in the Merry Men. So to do that, she sets out to kidnap a healer who has been helping the Sheriff of Nottingham, who's like the Merry Men's arch enemy. But she accidentally takes Clem Causey instead of the healer she was supposed to take. Clem is this very wisecracking, irrepressible girl with like a heart as big as her hair. Big hair. She's also a very progressive healer for her time. She is of the opinion that leeches are not the best way to fix any ailment, which for the time that this is set in is quite controversial. Clem proves herself useful as a kidnappee by saving many of the Merry Men from their injuries, including Mariel at various points throughout the book. And even Mariel, who has a, permanent frown on her face, much like my wife.
Hey.
eventually starts to succumb to Clem's charms. This book has a huge focus on found family and morality and legacy. Mariel's like band of friends within the Merry Men are all this like totally lovable bunch of rogues, all very distinct characters. They all have different strengths that they play to, and you just fall in love with all of them. There is an only one bed trope, but there's also an only one horse trope, which is like a fun new spin on that. This book is going to be the best read for you if you like grumpy sunshine pairings, if you like myth and fairy tale retellings, if you like witty banter and found family stories. I would say this cover is also safe to read if you're not out yet. There's nothing inherently gay on the front or back, just, you know, some gals being pals on a horse. They could be friends, right?
They could be.
This is true, I won't, just some gals being pals on a horse. Why have we never been gals being pals on a horse?
I don't have a horse.
Well, what are you doing?
Where am I gonna put a horse?
Last book of this book review is actually 2 books. Don't divorce me.
Okay.
This is Gearbreakers and Godslayers by Zoe Hana Mikuta. This is a YA dystopian sci-fi duology. Emphasis on the sci-fi. Our 2 main characters in these books are Eris and Sona. So Eris, here with the goggles on her head, is a gearbreaker, part of a group of rebels who specializes in taking down wind-ups, which are like giant mechanized robots that people pilot from inside. If you've ever seen Pacific Rim, it's sort of like that. When a mission goes wrong and Eris is captured and goes to prison, she meets Sona, who's one of the cybernetically enhanced pilots of the wind-ups. So these 2 girls should be mortal enemies. They're on opposite sides of the war. But it turns out that Sona has a secret. She became a wind-up pilot to try and overthrow the overlords from inside rather than from the outside. So Sona joins the rebels for like their biggest mission yet. All the while, she and Eris are falling for each other. But in the second book, she changed books, there you go. In the second book, Eris is shattered when she learns that Sona has been like brainwashed into thinking that she's with the overlords and that Eris hates her. Think like Peter in the Hunger Games when he gets brainwashed. It's like that. Devastating. But the rebels' hopes really depend on whether Eris can convince Sona that no, she doesn't hate her and actually they're in love. This is a like big epic dystopian sci-fi book, like a very epic big world and actual literal big things with giant robots that people are climbing up and down inside. There is a very chaotic found family element in the rebel group. Like all of those kids are totally messed up, but super smart and super crazy. If you liked Pacific Rim with the giant robots or Iron Widow, which also has a similar thing, then you would really like this book. Also, if you like found family, utter chaos, and fighting back against the regime. The front covers of both the books are okay, like the girls are on them, but it's not inherently gay. The blurb of book 1, however, does mention that they grow closer as well as comrades, friends, and perhaps something more. So it's a bit of a subtle reference right at the end of the blurb, but just keep that in mind if you're considering purchasing these ones to read. And that's it. That's the books. I'm never reading any more books again. That's the last books I'll ever read.
You're a liar.
I am a liar. Actually, can you recommend more books for me in the comments? Particularly books of the same genre that you want me to read. I also need more recommendations for spicy books because I enjoyed doing that video and you all seemed to enjoy that video. So give me more to read. And if you haven't watched that one, what are you doing? Go and watch that here. You can also check out, Lauren has a playlist called Galpal's Bookshelf, I believe, which has all of my book reviews on it if you want to find any other ones. You're allowed to go now. Bye!